TV, episode 20. We are absolutely honoured to be here with David Liu.
Hi.
Sat in Brisbane today, so we're down under dreaming, and really, really excited to have a chat with you and have you on the show. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. It's an honor for me to be here too.
So how are you finding Brisbane?
I love it so far. I wish I could stay here longer. If I didn't have 2 kids at home, it'd probably be a different story.
Yeah.
But beautiful weather, people super nice.
Yeah.
Check out the beaches tomorrow.
You're the only person I know that's ever come to Brisbane to buy a snowboard.
I'm a simple guy. If there's a sale on a snowboard, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you got to pick up bargains, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a few things I want to run through today, but for you, what makes the Salesforce ecosystem so special?
The thing that always surprises me about the Salesforce ecosystem is how much people genuinely help each other. I don't think you'll find that anywhere else. And these are people who make a ton of money, like Stephen Harrod. Like, this guy, like, he's like a gazillionaire, but he spends all this time like making podcasts for the community, helping people out. I'm sure he answers emails all the time. Like it's just such a giving community.
Sure.
So we're lucky to be in.
Yeah, sure. And have you found did you know much about the Salesforce ecosystem here in Australia before you got here?
No, I really didn't know what to expect either. I didn't know if there'd be 50 people at this event or a few hundred. And it's quite big, especially for a city that everyone says is like a small town.
Sure.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and the sun's come out for you as well, so I think that's been positive.
No, it's not always like this.
Yeah, well, apparently here it is, but we don't always get the sun in Sydney. But yeah, look, obviously you've got an amazing personal brand, and I think that's something that everyone knows. Anyone we speak to knows who you are. Has that been something that you've invested a lot of time in and focused on to build, or has that kind of just happened because of your love of the market and Salesforce?
It's not something I did on purpose, I think. Thank you for mentioning that, by the way. Actually, so my major in college was marketing.
Okay.
And then I learned to code and all this stuff. And I still think at this point, marketing is at its core what I find super, super interesting.
Sure.
Just taking marketing classes, reading marketing blogs and all that stuff. So I guess that comes out in the whole branding thing, kind of subconsciously. But one thing I think that's part of my brand, I don't know if this is in reality, but one thing I like about my brand is it's I think it's really simple. It's not very corporate. I feel like it's pretty genuine, and I feel like it has good intentions behind it.
Sure.
And so I think that's why when I don't invest time specifically trying to make a good brand, I feel like that honestly helps my brand.
Sure. Yeah, it's all just organic. It's you are who you are, and you've got a following from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I just sat through one of your sessions here at Down Under Dreaming around admins becoming developers, and I know obviously you've got online courses and you're a big advocate for the admin/developer role. Do you genuinely think anyone can learn to be a developer?
Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I could teach my parents to be developers if they wanted to, and I've just seen so many people from all sorts of backgrounds, all ages, all genders. Everything, rich, poor, I've seen so many people succeed. The real question I wonder is whether anyone can be a CTA, a certified technical architect. That one, I don't know. But development, oh, totally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And do you think everyone can be a good developer? And should everyone be a good developer, I guess?
Yeah, I don't think everyone has to be a good developer. A hybrid admin developer job, I always thought personally is the sweet spot. When I hire people at Google, I love seeing that hybrid admin dev.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're super good at dev, but the fact that they went for it, they're you know what, I hit this limit, but I overcame the limit by learning to code.
Sure.
That tells me so much about a person.
Yeah. So is that when you hire for the team and you say an admin developer kind of hybrid, is that the kind of role that you have in the team anyway, or do they then just become developers?
Well, almost all of our roles are developer related. We no longer have pure admin roles.
Okay.
Which has kind of surprised me, since Lightning came out, because I thought admins, are more powerful with process builder flow, dynamic layouts, all these things. Yeah, I think companies, including ours, are getting more ambitious with what they do with Salesforce. So it doesn't make sense to hire someone that has all these inherent limits.
Yeah.
Now, if you're hiring for a business analyst, that's a different story.
Sure.
But a pure admin, like those don't really exist anymore for us.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what, like looking at you interview, you hire for teams, huge teams as well. I've learned this week. What soft skills, like when you see a developer, they come and interview, what are you looking for apart from just the technical skills?
That's a good one. I think curiosity and willingness to learn new things. Like we just hired someone recently. This person didn't have like Lightning experience or developing Lightning web components, or even Flow experience on the admin side. And usually that would be like deal breaker because we do everything using these technologies nowadays. But this person really showed a willingness to learn, and like they recognized their limits, and was like they almost fought with me. They're like, "Look, David, like I know I don't have this, but I can do it." Like I really couldn't hold out that passion. Cool. And then we ended up hiring.
Yeah. So are you, because in Australia, we're not seeing too many web component projects or pieces of work at the moment. We're still seeing Lightning components. Is everything going web components already in the US?
I wouldn't say everywhere in the US. Like even within, Google, I'd say the vast majority are not, just ours. Because we spend a lot of time like making sure, at least on the team I'm on, that we use latest technology.
Sure.
So we have Einstein Analytics, we have AI, we have Lightning Web Components, and we tell our stakeholders like, look, like it doesn't matter how much work you give us, we're always going to reserve a specific amount of time, about 20%, just to try out new technologies.
That's cool.
And that's something like at Google, it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Like I don't know like if every company's like that, but I'm lucky that.
Sure. And that keeps you engaged and keeps you learning, right?
Yeah, and we have some really good developers on our team. We have some really good people, and I feel like that helps retain them too.
Sure. Yeah. So you came from an admin into developer, now a technical architect background, and there are so many people more so looking to make the step up from developer to technical architect. How did you know you were ready, and how did you get ready?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Like, I think one thing I realized as a developer, like there's only so much one developer can do.
Sure.
Now, if you work at a small company or you only have like a couple people on the team, like one developer is like the most powerful person. But when you work on a big org like Google, for example, and you're one developer, like even if you're twice as efficient as the next best person, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
You're kind of limited.
Sure.
So the technical architect path, like, is that growth outside of that? Because now you influence the entire project, even though you don't write any code anymore. Like, you are like so important to a project, and that was really important to me. Also, I tried going into management, and I was a horrible people manager. So I was like, man, all right, I have no other option.
Yeah. So you don't code anymore, or like in Polite?
No, I don't. I review a ton of code.
Yeah.
I approve and edit. Not edit. I comment in a lot.
Sure.
But no more writing code.
So do you just code in your own time to keep your hand in?
Yeah.
And do you think that's important?
Oh yeah, totally. Because as an architect, you have to be able to influence developers and admins.
Sure.
And if you don't know it, like at their level, then they're not going to listen to you. Especially if you're working with divas.
Sure.
I work with a lot of them.
So what's next for you? I guess you're now a technical architect. What's coming in the future?
I want to get my CTA, certified technical architect. That's the most important thing in my life. And raise my kids.
I hope your family aren't watching this.
I mean, many years ago, I wrote down kind of the goals of my life, like my 3 goals.
Yeah.
And I told myself, no matter how things go, if they go great or go bad, if I hit these 3 goals, I'm going to be satisfied with my life.
Sure.
And one of them, of course, is raising good kids and having a good family. Another one is passing CTA.
Yeah.
So I got to do that.
Yeah. And the third, are we going to hear that?
Third is to buy a house, and unfortunately we did.
Okay,
So.
ticked. That one's ticked. Cool. So, so the Salesforce roles, we've discussed a few of them. How do you see them evolving and changing?
Man, I wish I knew this one. I think, so I really think it's harder for admins to get jobs nowadays. But how do I see like admin, developer, and architect? Like,
Yeah, like the developer role, is that going to like change? Like it's changing all the time, right? Web components coming in, and the people needing to adapt and learn new technologies and languages. Is that just going to continue, or is web components kind of the is that staying for the foreseeable? Like what's
Oh yeah, web components are here to stay. I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on front end coding for developers. Less on the back end side, just because I think the admin technologies for back end, like Flow and like schedule flows and process builder, those are getting better and better.
Sure.
And maybe even integrations too, we'll see. But yeah, if I was full-time coding right now, I would invest all my time just on LWC and JavaScript.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And you're an inspiration to so many people in the market, and it's amazing what you do and the brand that you've built. Who inspires you?
Ooh, so many people. Stephen Harrod, one of them. He's here in Brisbane. Dan Appleman, of course. Recently, Steph Herrera. She gives back so much to the community, and like she also has like a super career. And it's nice to see like someone who not only has a great career, but who also makes the time to give back.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah.
Okay, and then finally, for anyone that's watching this now and they're just about to get into Salesforce, or they want to, what's your one piece of advice?
Ooh, they want to get into Salesforce right now. Hurry up! I mean, there's so many people joining. It's harder to find admin jobs too. Like, hurry up! Maybe learn some development to make it easier to find a job. Yeah, honestly, like if I had to start right now, if I knew nothing and I had to join the Salesforce industry right now, like it's a little harder now. Like I would be racing. I would like pick it up, get certified.
Yeah.
I'd say, and people always tell me I'm crazy when I say this, but I'm saying like, get 5 to 7 certifications, even if you have no experience. Like I know it sounds wrong and it's kind of like gaming the system, but like, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to get those jobs.
Sure.
So yeah, totally hurry up and get certified.
Okay, cool. And a lot of people know where to find you online, but for anyone that doesn't, where do you hang out and where can they see your stuff?
No, thank you. I got a website, sftc99.com. Check that out. And my contact information there, my Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm actually not that active on social media.
Not on LinkedIn because there's too many recruiters hitting you up. Right?
Yeah. But I reply to every email. So
yeah.
So I don't think I'll get a ton. Like I always say that, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'll get a ton of emails. I still don't. So I'm not afraid to say it.
Okay. Well, so let us know how many you do get. But honestly, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Brisbane.
Sweet. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.